Good morning. It's Tuesday, January the 18th. Let's look at math lesson 5.3. Our essential question, when do you regroup in subtraction? Now today in class we talked about how regroup is a fancy word for borrow. Think about if you needed an orange crayon, let's say, for an art project and you didn't have one in your crayon box. Well, you might look at your next door neighbor here in the classroom at our pod, and you might ask if you could borrow their orange crayon. So today we're going to practice borrowing from the tens column to help us solve a math problem. So I want you to kind of keep that in mind. So let's look at this first problem. We are supposed to do the math problem for 21 minus 7 on this page. Now here's the way I did it in class. The first thing we have to do is we need to draw a quick picture. So in our quick picture for 21, I would have 10, or 2 10s rather, and I would have 1 1. And so our quick picture would look like that. Now you actually have the 10 frame to draw in since I'm doing mine on the cards. You won't have that. Okay, so now we have to take away 7 1s. But I'm looking here and I only have 1 1. So I joked in class, oh, I'm going to give up. I don't know what to do. But wait a minute. What if I went over to the tens and I borrowed a 10 stick? Remember back in the beginning of the year, we learned that 10 ones equal 1 10. So if I borrow a 10 stick, I then have to draw 10 ones down here. Just like that. Now, can I take away 7 ones? Absolutely, and I will do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And look how many ones I have left. I have 1, 2, 3, I have 4 ones. I don't have to take away any 10s, and I have 1 10. So the answer is 14. Now I showed the kids in class also what this looks like in numbers, because let's face it, as you get older, you won't be drawing a quick picture to solve your subtraction problems. You'll just simply be solving your problems using the numbers. So I come over to this problem, and I always start in the ones column. And I ask myself, do I have more on top? In other words, is 1 bigger than 7? Nope, 1 is definitely not bigger than 7. Do I have more on the floor? Yep, 7 is bigger than 1. So here's the way the rhyme goes. More on top, no need to stop. That doesn't work. More on the floor, go next door, which is the tens column, and get 10 more. And here's what that looks like. I will cross out the 2, and I'll put a 1. Why a 1? Because 1 comes before 2. Then I'll put a 1 in front of the 1. Why a 1? Well, because I borrowed 10 ones, and 10 plus 1 is 11. Now I have 11 minus 7, and 11 minus 7 is 4. And 1 minus 0 is 1. Did I get the same answer? I absolutely did. All right, so let's look at the next page. And in class, we just went straight for, and sorry, this video is going to be a little jumpy for a second. Sorry about that. There we go. We just went straight for the problems because I could explain it just as well as the top did. And in fact, kids listen to me better than they do reading the model and draw. So let's look at number 1. Subtract 13 from 41. All right. First thing I taught my kids today, my class, is, I hated it as a kid because I felt like they were always giving me the math problem and trying to trick me. And they probably were. Because look what it says. Subtract 13 from 41. Well, you just have to remember that you actually write it, the last number from is actually your top number. So this is what it looks like, 41 minus 13. Now I need to draw my quick picture. So I'm just going to do it on this big card right here. And I need to draw a picture of 41. 4 10s and 1 1. Now let's look at my problem. I'm starting in my ones, and I'm supposed to take away 3 1s. Not again. I only have 1 1, and I have to have 3 to take away. So I'm going to regroup. I'm going to borrow. I'll come over to a 10 stick. I'm going to cross that out, and that means that I now have 10 more 1s. Notice I said 10 more. Yeah, don't count that one that was already there. Now, can I take away 3 ones? Absolutely. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's see how many ones are left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ones. Now let's look at the tens. In the tens, I have to take away 1 10. Now don't be fooled. This is the 10 that I borrowed from, so that one doesn't count. I have to take away 1 more. So take 1 more away. And how many 10s do I have left? I have 2 10s. So my answer is 28. Now let's look and see what that looks like with the numbers, shall we? So let's start in the ones. Do I have more on top? In other words, is 1 bigger than 3? Nope. Do I have more on the floor? Is 3 bigger than 1? Yes. So I go next door and I get 10 more. I cross out my 4. I'm going to take away 1 10 so that 4 then becomes 3. And then I put a 1 in front of the 1. Why a 1? Because I borrowed 10 and 10 plus 1 is 11. Now I have 11 minus 3. And I know from reflex, 11 minus 3 equals 8. And then I go to my 10s. 3 minus 1, that equals 2. Did I get the same answer? Yes, I did. Let's look at a couple more, and then you're on your own. Let's look at number 2. Subtract 9 from 48. Again, remember, they're trying to trick you. 48 is actually the top number. 48 minus 9. All right, so let's draw a quick picture. Let's draw the picture of 48. That's 4 10s and 8 1s. Okay, that's a lot of 1s. Hopefully I don't have to borrow this time. Let's see what the problem says. I have to take away 9. Well, do I have 9 1s? Nope, I only have 8. Guess what? I have to borrow. I'm going to go over to my 10s, cross out one of my 10s, and then I have to bring over 10 more. And notice how I'm putting my 1s like in a 10 frame, and that'll make it easier for you to make sure you're organized. Now in the problem, I have to take away 9. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now let's see how many numbers ones I have left. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 1s. Now let's look back to the problem. How many 10s do I have to take away? 0. So I don't have to worry about any of that. How many 10s do I have left? 3. So the answer is 39. Now let's see how we would do it with numbers. So let's look at the actual problem. 48 minus 9. Start in that 1's column. Do I have more on top? Nope. 8 smaller than 9. I have more on the floor, don't I? So I need to go next door to the 10s, cross out the 4, and get 10 more. Well, 3 comes before 4, so I'm going to put a 3 there. And then there's my 10 that I borrowed, and now I have the number 18. And I know from reflex that 18 minus 9 is 9. And 3 minus that imaginary 0 that's there is 3. And I got the same answer. One more. Let's look at number 3. Subtract 28 from 52. So first things first, let's write the problem. Remember, they give us the big number that goes on top last, so 52 minus 28. All right, so now let's do the quick picture. Let's draw 52. 5 10s and 2 1s. Okay, I have to take away 8 1s. And of course, just like all these problems seem to have been, I don't have enough 1s. So I'm going to go to my 10s, cross out a 10 stick, and bring 10 more over. Okay, now let's see if we can do this problem. Now, can I take away 8 ones? Yes. And so now I have how many ones left? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now let's look at the tens. I have to take away 2 tens. Remember, the one that's already marked out is from when I borrowed or when I regrouped. So I have to take away 2 more. And how many tens do I have left? Yeah, I have 2. So the answer is 24. Now let's do it with the numbers. So start in my ones column. Do I have more on top? No. Do I have more on the floor? Yes. 8 is bigger than 2, so I go next door and get 10 more. I cross out my 5, and the number that comes before 5 is 4, and then I'm going to put a 1 in front of the 2. So now I have a new problem, 12 minus 8. 12 minus 8, that I know from reflex, is 4. And now I subtract my tens. 4 minus 2 equals 2. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. In class, we did 4, 5, 6, and 7, and we stopped there for today, and then we're going to continue on with the others tomorrow. If you have any questions, let me know. Good luck!